hang out or whatever, just bear with us a little bit. Ooh, we are live.
Yeah, it went fast. Look at that, I speed up. Look at that, I speed up.
And so do we choose to just let everybody, so we're starting actually at 6:30, everyone, for the Superpower Summit. If you'll just hang tight with us for a little bit, and we'll get started here in a few minutes.
Yes. That happened fast. That was funny.
I'm going to comment just so we have some. Woohoo! Keep a little bit of time to come in.
Yes. Normally when I go to stream, it has this, takes this time. Now it's like, going in.
Open the door, walk through the door.
Close the door. Yes.
It's weird to see yourself in a different time. Okay.
The second time today I've been extremely early for something.
That's new for you.
I know.
Did you put your power shoes on, Jean?
Yes.
We were discussing our shoes and how our shoes are.
We put on power shoes. And Carrie's are the best.
I have my Betty Boop shoes on. That's what I call them, Betty Boop. They're very, very large heels. Betty Boop.
Boop, 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 boop.
There's Tracy coming in. Hey,
Tracy, welcome.
Exciting.
You're on mute, sweetie. We can't hear you. We'd love to.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. My friends. Yay. Hello. Hello. Yay.
Oh, welcome. Welcome.
Yeah, Florence was on here a minute ago. She said she's going to hop back on.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was good to see everyone's face. She's like, I'm going to get to see so many people I haven't seen in a while. I'm like, yes, I know. I said, yes, I know. It's
yes.
Good. Yes.
How lovely.
Yes, yes.
Hi, I met with your friends Joan there. And
oh, yes.
Oh, Joan and Jean.
Joan and Jean.
Hey, Tracy. Hello. Hi.
These girls have changed our life and given us so much ease. And I was talking about how it's been very different for me to hand over all kinds of details.
Yes, yes.
And trust, support. And we have some glitches here and there, and it's okay. And it's our first time to do this with them. And so it'll be awesome as we continue to grow together. Oh, my flowers look beautiful. And all my hearts.
Yes, your table and the hearts are so awesome. I've heard a brief part of the story.
Wait, pardon me?
I heard a brief part that there's a story you're making those.
So yes, I'm doing those are my Christmas gifts, and then you can kind of see some of the triangles. They're angels.
Oh wow. How
They're
beautiful.
all on reclaimed lumber construction wood that I picked up at a yard.
Freaking awesome. I love
Doing those with acrylic.
Nice.
And the colors are just gorgeous.
I was very excited when I saw it. I wanted to just drop everything and go run and play with you.
Come over, we'll paint.
Yes.
Yeah, if you come to my house, you paint furniture. So
I've been known for that.
Carrie paints furniture.
One of the things, and it came through Erin actually, and she said, "Are you just a coach?" And I said, "No." And so,
yeah, you can't really see them. I was doing some decoupage and like writing over them and words and decrees and stuff. So yeah, I love it. I'm with Andrea.
Beautiful.
It's important that we continue to use our creative energy in different ways, and so
I agree.
the energy. Hello, Mary.
Hi,
Joe.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm going to turn off my video so I can eat dinner.
Okay.
We don't mind it. We don't mind watching you, but that's okay. We get it.
Yeah.
So how did you find us?
Liz.
Okay.
Oh, Liz.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Lovely.
Awesome.
So where are the two of you located?
Carrie and I are in Houston, Texas. She's in Richmond, Texas, and I'm in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
And
hence the sleevelessness with the Christmas earrings.
Yes. And I'm in Minnesota.
And you're double layered.
And Carol's up in the Illinois area, and Jean and Joan are in Malaysia.
Wow.
So
yes.
Philippines. We're in the Philippines.
Yes.
Wow. Wonderful.
Well, we're always making up someplace, but we know
like the Philippines. I was
far
like
away, surrounded by water, and it's warm.
That's great. That's great.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, nice to meet you, and I'll
nice to meet you.
rejoin.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay.
In a little bit.
Okay. Sounds good. One minute.
One more minute. We're about to get rolling here. It's Michelle. Oh. This is so exciting for us.
There's Tony.
All these people in community and new people too. So,
and Michelle, you should have gotten an email from me at around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
I did. She requested recording, and I.
Oh yes, I saw recording.
Check it today, and I got it. Tony's driving. She said she's driving. Okay, well, no more texting, Tony.
Welcome.
Hands on the wheel. 2 and 10.
Carrie, you want to go ahead and call everyone in, and let's get rolling. No, there's Liz.
Yes, let's go ahead. There's Elizabeth. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Super Power Summit. Woohoo! I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited that all of you have jumped on to join us. And we are just, Andrea and I created this event to be able to bring together so many different people that we have played with and that we know through facilitating that are doing things all around the world. And our desire was to bring everybody together and bring as many people as we can in so that everybody can see what all we have to offer and what we are doing for our world and how glorious it is for each one of us. And each one of us has a superpower that we're going to share in the next few days. And each one of us is blazing our own trail, and we're bringing community with us. So these buildings of communities are happening all over. And we are here to share where you can find more consciousness all around you, because you may be unaware that it's right underneath of your nose, and the awareness that we are all able to reach each other right here via Zoom as well. And there's so many beautiful things that we are each offering, and the excitement of creating this event already has already been just miraculous. I'm going to share before Andrea hops in, but I just want to share that I have actually shared this information. I have 3 children ranging from the ages of 21 to 13. And I have sent them that I was doing this summit, which normally I function and I do my classes, and I don't really share. I share consciousness with them, and then sharing what I'm doing was new for me. And they were like, Mom, dude, this is legit, Mom, this is legit. And I was like, and I was getting all these emojis and everything. And it was really awesome just to even create what Andrea and I are creating. And so, did I even say my name? In all of this, I'm Carrie Mushall. For those of you who don't know me, Andrea and I are Embody, and we are here in Houston, Texas. And so I'll go ahead and let Andrea introduce herself now, and then I'll jump back in.
And so my name is Andrea Alexander, and I have been playing in conscious community for about 4 years now. And Carrie and I were playing with another facilitator and created this group for us as facilitators and coaches and consciousness to kind of feed each other and see what's going on. And everybody started sharing what they were doing with their own tools. We all have the same tools, but they were sharing what they were doing with their tools. And it was so frigging awesome to hear and be with people and what they were doing and how they were lighting up their world and playing in their passion in so many different ways, with women and children and men, and just in community and leadership and business and personal. And so Jean and Joan, who are our everything connected and who create for us, said, let's do a summit. And we said, yes. And what do you want to do? And we were playing with what's your superpower? And so that's how we came into, one of the things we say is our greatest weakness shall be our greatest strength. And what we're remembering is that we all have different sets and skills, and we've all had different experiences, and that we have a litany of light and life to share with so many people, because everyone on the planet can stand a little more love. And so the experience, because we have different experiences, we're going to magnetize and manifest for different people. And that's what we're here to do, is create connection in community for all of us to share what we've done so far, what lights us up. And as coaches, one of the things that Carrie and I have experienced and we've walked into is remembering that we are evidence for others that they can have these things in their life and live their passion and live in their superpower, and that there is more than enough for all of us to share. And so that's how this kind of came to be.
Yes. Yes. And just to give you a little background about me and how I came into this. So I've been in consciousness for about 3 years, maybe I'm going on 4 years now. And I've been a yoga instructor for 18 years, and I own a yoga studio for 10 years. And when I came in, what was happening in my life was I was feeling as though it was time for something to change. I knew something was transitioning. It was time for a shift, and I didn't know what it was. And you may have heard people before saying, I was stuck. And I was stuck. And I was saying, where do I go next? What do I do? And I was invited to Faith and Wellness out in Waller, Texas, where Andrea and I's mentor is. And I went out there for a class, and then I left after the class, and I enjoyed what I saw, but I was kind of like, and then what I know now is that it was fear. And what I did, which I am magnificent at, is lean in. And so I jumped right in and I signed myself up for a week retreat. And once I went to the week retreat, then as soon as I was complete, the last day I realized I'm here to be a facilitator, and I signed up for facilitator training. And I have continued along that entire path. I did sell my yoga studio because what I was hearing was to go bigger. And this was my bigger. Hence, you guys are all over the world. This is what was coming true to me, and what I was stepping into was bigger. Each one of us has a superpower. And Andrea and we speak into our greatest weakness shall be our greatest strength. Say it again. Our greatest weakness shall be our greatest strength. And as I walked through my transition and knowing that there was change, I was yet to know what that meant. And what I began to realize was that I have had seizures for 32 years where the world diagnosed me as epileptic. And I began in this movement of staying. And at the moment, I did not know that staying had anything to do with my seizures, nothing at all. What I did know was that I would leave my body, jump out, run around and do 1,000 things during the day, as many of us do. And how do I jump out of my body? You may go, what is that? What that simply means is, if you were to ask me in any of the moments of my day's events, of everything I was thinking about, that I was doing, that I was going, if you were to ask me how I felt, my answer would have been, I don't know. And any time that we are experiencing an I don't know, when somebody asks you how you feel, you have jumped out of your body, because you are jumping out to get everything done. And that's where people experience anxiety and head spinning all around, brain firing in all these different directions. And what would happen to me is I would have a seizure. Did I have one every day? No. Was I on medication? Yes. And yet I still had them, and they had what they call breakthrough seizures, which means that I could break right through that medicine and I would have a seizure, which would mean that they believed that they were controlled just until these moments that they happened. And they were moments where I was out of my body, running around. So where was my stay? There was no stay. It was a leaving. I can't handle this. I got to do this and this and this and this. I got to leave. And then when the world got to be too much, I would take 2-hour naps a day. I had 2-hour naps a day for 32 years, running a business and raising 3 children and married. If you ask my children, they'll tell you they found me on the couch many, many times. When they would come in from school, that's where I'd be. So I had other ways where I would leave. And so as I came in and started finding my patterns, the pattern that kept coming up was leaving. And I would find all these different ways that I was doing it, believing I had to have naps. The medication makes me tired. And yet that's not what was happening. I was checking out, was believing I couldn't handle it. And when I found the pattern and we were able to, and I was being coached, that I could come in and say, I stay. And I could say, I stay for me. And I was asked if my little self was running around doing all those crazy things, or if my great self that has connection to a higher power was doing those things. The answer was my little self. And so the moment that I embodied my great self stays, I was able to stay again and again. I was no longer sleepy. I was awake. I'll tell you, I didn't understand what people were doing with all their time because I had so much time on my hands. I couldn't figure out what was going on now. I was so awake. And I was awake. And then after a year of finding all the different ways in which because I stayed in this system because it was already working for me. I was awake and I was experiencing my family. I was able to hear them. I was able to be with them. And I was able to love them at a whole new level. And that in itself was enough for me to stay in. And what I was yet to know was after 1 year of doing this, I would come into MFR, myofascial tissue release, because our tissue stores memories. And I went through a very gentle MFR process on the table that lasted 30 minutes. And when I stood up, I said, my seizures are over. I put my medicine away and I stopped. It's been 2 years. I haven't had one seizure. I haven't had one flinch. I haven't had my jaw shake because I knew when all my seizures were coming. I haven't had my jaw flinch. I haven't convulsed. Yes, I've taken naps, but I've 2 hours? No. Every day? No. Massive energy returning and massive return for me and my family. And so, does this system work? Well, I'm going to tell you yes. And so, what is my superpower? My superpower is I'm here for massive stay. Because if I've been an expert on leaving, that means that the return for me is the energy of stay. If you equate 32 years of all the times I left, if I sat here and mathematically did that, and I realized the return is that amount of energy to stay and experience life and love life, that's massive. And so I am here. My superpower is staying. I can stay for love. And that has so many branches. That in itself is just ever so powerful. So this is my superpower. And in the next couple of days, we're going to have people jumping in and telling you what their superpower is and how they got there on their journey. And so Andrea is going to share now her journey because she's a superpower and that's how we ignited together. And so she's going to share with you her story and her superpower.
Thank you, Carrie. And so I've spent this massive, long journey of trying to understand why I beat myself up so badly. Coming off in elementary, junior high, high school, a lot of self-sabotaging behaviors with that degraded my body, with relationships, food, even time with drugs and playing with drugs and alcohol, because I had yet to discover loving myself. And so I had childhood sexual trauma that was repressed until I was in my 40s. And I had done a lot of therapy, recovered some memories, and was doing so much better and felt great. And I knew there was still more. And I had been playing with Louise Hay in How to Heal Your Life. And really what resonated for me with her was dis-ease or disease is in our bodies. And so there was all these different symptoms that I experienced and there were affirmations, and I loved it. And I was seeing a lot of progress in me and how I felt about myself. And again, I said, I knew there was more. And I found a class offered called Sacred Body Language. And I imagined it was going to be similar. And I went to that class that was, I leaned in to do something that was totally out of character for me. And I was in this room with about 40 or 45 women, and we were all talking about what's going on with our bodies. And our mentor, Faith, started coaching, and I raised my hand, and she gave me some decrees, and I choose to remember what they were. But what I remember, I started and I felt a lot of feeling, and then I got really, really sad, and my voice almost completely went away. And then I felt my power come back into my words as I continued to say these decrees. And I told my mother when I was telling her about the class the next day, I said, I don't know what this is. I said, but it's really important. And so I just kept jumping in, and I watched videos and did all kinds of things to discover more about what it was about. And then I hired a coach, and I did the coaching. And then I went to my first retreat and did body electronics, which is acupressure. It's literally a rebirthing. And when I came off the table, I just had a completely new way that I felt about life, and so much fear about death just left me. And as I've continued to play in this system, because that's what it is, everything that we do is easily repeatable. There's a language pattern, there's body language, and then we do eye readings. And so we're finding the feelings and the flips based on different things. And so as a child having a victim experience of sexual trauma, I carried a lot of shame. And when I first went into my coach, I checked, I had everything in the thing, everything but shame and codependence and guilt. Everything else I had, but none of those. And it was so close to me and so on my body that I couldn't even see it. And so as I continued to play, what I've done is I've gone from the shame of abuse into why I experienced this in life. And the statistics say that 1 in 3 women have had some kind of sexual trauma in their life. And those are the ones that remember, and those are the ones that say. And so I imagine the numbers are very different. And what I got is, because I've had the experience, and because I've walked myself through all of it, and I have walked myself into forgiveness with a tremendous amount of loving support, what I get to do is be with other women and support them in walking the road that I have already stepped onto. And because of that, it gave me my purpose. It's my mission in life. And as I've continued to play and really explore being with shame, and because how do you be with women who've had all of these things come on them if you don't know anything about shame? And how are we going to know the glory of what it turns into if we've yet to experience and remember what it actually does become? And so through all of this, I have walked myself into forgiveness. And one of the things that so many of us say over and over again is, I'd like to love myself. I wish I loved myself. I know I'm supposed to love myself. But if we've got shame, are you going to give it to you? It's not very easy until you recognize what that is and what's really acting. And so my superpower is self-love. And what this is doing for me right now is every single thing that I do for myself, whether it is brushing my teeth one more time during the day, washing my face, using soap in a bath even, because if you've got that much shame, why would you try to wash off? You're not worthy. You don't deserve purity. And so every time I say yes and I take one more baby step and do something, I'm being loving to me. And it gets easier and funner. And so I just have all these new things that I keep adding to my life that I'm saying yes to. That is me showing up for me. It is me loving me, and it's me creating the life that I love. And so glorious. And it has shifted how I am with myself. And we're all here to give ourselves great care. And we've heard so many times, if you don't give yourself great care, how are you going to show up for anybody else? But we've had this other belief that we have to do for everybody else first. We are here to fill ourselves up, because no one else is ever going to do it for you. You're going to be irritated and depleted. And when you give yourself just a tiny bit every single day, it gets easier to give yourself more. And what you find is the quality of the person that you have become is so different with the other ones that you love. And it's so much easier. We let go of stress. We let go of anxiety. We let go of hard and harsh, and things become fun. And so I'm so massively grateful to have these tools, and they've done so much for me, and I've received so much from them that I took a massive leap of faith and began to do this for myself, and created my own business to care for me. And Carrie and I have realized it's so much more fun with partnership, which is amazing in itself. And so that's what we're.
One of the things that I heard you say that I think is just so profound, and it's so, and I is that when you got a list that you were going down, that Faith gave you a list and you checked off like what characteristics that you felt fit you. You skipped shame altogether. And that wasn't even one of them. And yet it was what was holding you back from experiencing life.
Yes.
And so, I mean, yeah. And that's what, if you ask me, Carrie, will you stay for love? I married the man that I met at 14. So I'm going to tell you, yeah, baby, I stay for love. And yet there were so many ways that I was checking out.
Leaving.
I mean, yes. And so, sometimes we believe, oh, I know what it is. And like, I remember going into facilitation going, oh, I know what it is. Like, I know, I just wish she'd address this one thing. Let's address this one thing. And it was funny because Tracy's laughing because she knows, because our mentor will go around that thing because that's not it. And do we believe that we have the answer? Often we'll believe, oh, I already know I do this, and I know I do this, and this has got to be fixed, and I got to adjust this. And what we're here to be aware of is, first of all, there's nothing to fix.
We are perfect.
We're perfect. And when we realize that, then we can see what is waiting to be brought into the light of your strength that has been your weakness. So you may be yet to know, and that's why I love these tools. And what we use is we simply follow the language code of what we are saying. And we step into hearing code and ask questions, and it allows it to come up for us. Hey, there it is. This is where I've left or this is where I've yet to love myself fully. And we'll find it, but we'll find it in just the words that we use daily, that we believe, oh, I was just kidding. That's just something I say. And yet what we're aware of is there are no idle words. And so every word allows us to uncover what it is we've been believing in that has created our reality. Because somebody like Andrea, who believes they're a victim, will play that in the work field, in friendships, in relationships. In mine, I'd sit with women for only in friendships. Did I have friendships? Yes. But now I have them at a deeper level. And I remember many times like only wanting to have so many because I just didn't want to bother, because I didn't want, I was being asked to be and stay with people. That was something that was new to me. And so, and if you ask me, and people will tell you, I am an awesome mother, and I am an awesome mother. I know tender love really, really well. And yet now we laugh because my children can mimic who I was then. And even though I had great love, I was leaving so much in what they're seeing now, because my third child has actually come into me being conscious. And when I ask him about the other ones mimicking their childhood of growing up with me, he's like, I said, do you remember that? No. Awesome. And he remembers me staying. And he did a Spanish report the other day, and he had to write down descriptive words for me. And his descriptive word was, I was supportive. And I was like, oh, wow. I said, that's the word you got. He said, yes, that's the word. He said, I'm choosing to figure out how to translate that to Spanish right now. And, and it was awesome, because my experience in the past is that their words would be completely different. So we are seen differently because we are living life differently. So our experiences, and that's the other beautiful thing, is our experiences are not just for us. When we make our shifts and we step into our superpower, the people around us will automatically shift, and people that are our DNA are going to immediately have reactions of shifting and changing themselves without going and teaching them. Like as parents, we always go, well, I just got to sit them down, and if I could just tell them how to breathe a couple times, and if they just could say, I can, say it. And they're all like, And yet what we're realizing now is when we do it, they jump in. I had my 13-year-old in the car, and he's conscious, and he follows my code, and he'll say to me, I sneeze, and that's confirmation. He's like, isn't that confirmation, Mom? Yes, confirmation. So they start to jump in and play, and then they start to shift and show up for themselves in a completely different way. Their friendships will be different. Their relationships will be different. And as anybody who's a mother, who's an aunt, has loved ones around them, we always desire to have the best for them. We always all we ask is that they love life. And now, instead of going out and trying to help them love life, we do it in us, and they step into their own loving of life, because it's the I go first, and it's miraculous. This is the first system I've seen it be really live and really just happen, and happen quickly. That's the other thing. Andrea and I are working with corporate now, and we laugh because somebody said to us, so what computer system do you use to put in and compute and translate all this language and have it all come back to you? And I was like, we just kind of chuckled, because the people around us are the computers. They just talk, and we can hear code, and we can translate language. And the more you jump in and play, the more you catch the more you begin to remember. We call it remembering instead of learning, because our belief is we were all created from a divine source. We all have a divine blueprint, how we were meant to function in life. And we have covered it up with our daily activities, our experiences, our family's experiences. And so now what we're here to realize is that we can remember all of these things. And so when we're in a room, people speak and their language just comes out, and we can translate it. And it's a skill set that is, the more you play, you're able to catch, you're able to remember that it's in you, and it starts speeding up.
Yes.
Okay, I see that.
Well, I was just going to say that a couple of people, Carrie was speaking into the shifts and changes that she's experienced in her family, and we have awesome evidence of what shifts and changes in family when we step in and go first. And Elizabeth has done that with both of her her father and her mother. And then our first speaker tonight, Lars, and his daddy Warren is on the call with us. And so we've been playing with Lars in community, and he brings a new and different way to play. And we love that we are stepping in to really creating divine union and secure and playing with men and women at the same time is glorious. So we'd like to introduce Lars King, and he's going to tell you about what he's doing and what his superpower is and how he's living it.
Hey everybody, I'm Lars, and it's such an honor to be here. Thank you, Andrea and Carrie.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'd love to just start off with taking some breaths together. How's that sound?
Awesome. Amazing. Let's go.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll breathe in our nose and out our mouth. And as you breathe, visualize love flowing in and out of your heart. And we'll do a full belly and chest breath. So we'll do 5 of those. So just feel yourself settling into your body even more. Breath is life, and we're here activating our superpowers, choosing to be more and more alive. Because wherever our lineage stopped choosing life, we would have then taken that on, and then now we're the ones to go, I choose life at a whole nother level. So remembering to breathe is something I'm reminding myself every day, and it's always very powerful. More energy in the room, and it's beautiful. There's a lot I can share, and I'm excited to share about my superpower and why I'm here and what I'm up to. But first, I'd love to hear about you. So we have this chat here at the bottom, the Zoom chat, and I like to customize things. So if you can just tune into your heart and ask your heart, what is the one thing I desire to learn more about, to step into, to expand into? And it can be one word, a few words, and write that in the chat so I can get a sense of where we are and what our intention is collectively. So go ahead and just ask your heart and type that in. So my dad Warren says, enjoying presence without mind. Awesome. Thanks, Dad. Tony says, I'm not sure, which is clarity returning. So that's awesome. Mary says, calm energy. Elizabeth is magnetizing her love. Andrea is choosing to stay in ease. Beautiful. Therese is saying security. Awesome. And Joe is mentioning living life without fear. Beautiful. And we learned that what we put on our screen of consciousness is what stays on there. And when we flip our fear into our faith, then we can actually live into our faith, which is what we're choosing. So that's awesome. Carrie is choosing to stay in courageous love. Veronica, to be a better person. Michelle, courage and confidence. And Tracy, receiving stay for calm and ease. Beautiful. I feel a bigger picture intention coming through all of us. And we can imagine ourselves, we're all like one finger on the bigger consciousness that we are, the hand. That each individual is important. And then we're remembering our greater nature that's deeply interconnected and has the same intention. So what if you walk down the street every day realizing that every single person has the same deeper intention as you, or something very similar, then you could actually realize, oh, wow, I'm already secure because everyone is love and everyone wants love. It's really simple. When we keep these truths at top of heart, top of mind, we remind ourselves what's true. Because oftentimes I experience myself going into patterns and loops of negative thinking and fear of the future. And you know, I, just like everyone else here, I have these things come up. But what do I do? That's the thing that is going to change the game, because we're all so similar. That's what I learned. The deeper I go into transformation work with people, the more I realize that we all pretty much got the same stuff going on. We're all dealing with shame. We're all dealing with feeling inadequate. We're all dealing with all these kinds of things from all the programming, from all the school system, the religious programming, all of the trauma of all these lineages that we carry in our DNA. It's similar. We all have our unique return, but just to realize, like, oh, like the people speaking today and the people receiving, we're playing with the same stuff. It's just that I've had my own journey and I can share what I've learned, and I can learn from all of you as well. And the last couple of things is Monica's mentioning to stay in her powerful will. Beautiful. And Steve wants to accentuate life. Not sure what that means, but it sounds exciting. Okay. I'll share a little bit about my background and where I come from and my superpower, and then we can just start to play together in a deeper way where it's more intimate and we can actually experience transformation, where the person who's going to be playing, they're going to be like a hologram for everybody else, meaning the thing that they're working with, everyone else will also be touching that in their own way, and then everyone will get an upgrade. So a little bit about my background. I grew up with my dad, who is a magical wizard. He's here in this call, and my mom, who's a beautiful painter and world traveler. And I took those strengths and I ran with them. So my mom loved traveling, and I went to 47 different countries because my heart told me to. And my dad loved playing and healing and multidimensional reality. And so I just took that and ran with it. And I've discovered some of the most potent healing or transformation modalities and brought them together. And I love really consciously creating my reality, which is a way you could define magic. And all of us are using magic every single day, because every word we say is a spell. Because get it? When we're spelling our words. So it's important to be aware of the language you speak, as Carrie was talking about, because every word we say does create our reality. Think of your life as a house with all these different bricks, and every word you say is another brick in that house. So what if we're speaking unconsciously for decades? Well, then the house we've built maybe isn't the one where we feel expansive at ease, because the language we were taught wasn't spoken by people who were in expansion, ease, and calm. So that means we go, oh, oops, right? That's it. Oops, forgive all of that. And then we just focus on, how do I choose to speak? And when we go into the deepest part of our psyche, which is, like Carrie was talking about, our divine nature, and we speak from there, every single time I've done that, a miracle has happened. Every single time. And that just shows how powerful we are. And this is about playing in our power. So let's all begin by making a call. And when we make a call, it really sets the energy for the entire time of the container we're in. So we're in a container, the Superpower Summit. Let's all make a call to the deepest divine aspect within us about what we intended. So all the things wrote in the chat, I'll show you how to make a call, and we're actually going to receive a miracle around that topic. So I'll give you an example. My intention is to remember my security in playing with my world. That's my intention. That's what I would have written down. So my call, and it's something you can take a couple of breaths and just really go within. You can close your eyes if you feel inspired to, but I'll just do it, and then you can do it in your own way. But you say it with your power, and at the end you say thank you, having already received it, because what we ask for, we receive. So I'll make a call. God within me, I call for the deep remembrance, for my deep remembrance of security and ease in playing with my world. Thank you. So all of you try that. I encourage you to say it out loud. You can be muted so you can just really express and trust that it will happen. And it's already done. Beautiful. We can make a call anytime, anywhere. Sometimes my girlfriend makes a call for parking angels and it works every time. And Tracy's raising her hand that, that's awesome. So big and small, make a call.
That's awesome. I love the thank you. The thank you is such a remembering that it's already done. Andrea and I just finished a call series not too long ago on gratitude, and we are aware of the power of thank you.
And our thank you is the belief. It demonstrates our belief in that it is already done. And gratitude, and it creates all this shift and change in our bodies. And gratitude, thank you is a gratitude feeling and prayer. And the gratitude creates all the life-sustaining hormones and begins to create shift in our bodies immediately.
Yes, there was a really cool study done that the body, in all of its trillions of mechanisms in every second, responds to every thought and word you say. The body will create hormones. It'll create all kinds of things based on, it's basically a highly sensitive instrument that we get to play, like a harp or violin or whatever. And with our thoughts, words, deeds, we're creating our body. And our body is our vessel. So if we notice there's something going on in our body, it's basically a sacred message saying, hey, this is off in your consciousness. And then we go, oh, okay, thank you. Thank you, body. Instead of, oh, it'll suppress you with pills and numbing out. No. We'll say, thank you, body. Get bigger if you'd like, symptom or whatever. I'm going to choose to be conscious of what's coming up. And with any health issue, they've all been decoded. We can understand what our subconscious is trying to express to us. And sometimes it'll be a light message, a little tap on the shoulder. Hey, your finger's going to get a little bug to land on it. And that's a little message. Great. Or we might slam the car door on our hand, and that would be a more intense message. But wherever we are, what I've discovered is to listen when it's light. Otherwise, I'll be forced to listen when it's heavy. So, okay, thank you, universe, for your light, loving messages.
Yeah.
And even it'll be hilarious because the universe has a sense of humor. I see billboards that answer my messages sometimes. Oh, thank you, billboard. Thank you, universe. It just has a little code. So everything is code, like the Matrix movies. We're having Matrix 4 come out in a couple of weeks, Matrix Resurrections. And we're here for the resurrection. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Absolutely. And we're resurrecting from the matrix, from the duality, the belief in control and separation and fear. We're resurrecting our true divine nature. And what I've learned, when I learned about this stuff, I was like, oh, okay, divine nature now, embodiment now. I was impatient. I wasn't being gentle with myself. And that's what I want to share with you, is that being gentle with yourself is like the number one in all of this. Because we can hear about superpowers and magic and healing and, whoa, I want it all, right? And it's okay to want it all. But wherever we were taken out of that is going to be a tender place in our hearts to touch with ease and sacredness. And giving ourselves the time and space to do that is helpful. Even when we're still beyond time and space, we're partnering with this reality. So there is an integration process. And that's something that's been one of my most difficult lessons, is slowing down and trusting. Because when we can open up and trust that our whole universe is actually wanting what we want, it's a shift. It's like, wait a second. Everything is actually conspiring in my favor. Even if it hadn't seemed like that in the past, that was all for me too. Yes, even that thing that was definitely not pleasurable was still for you, because there was a soul lesson involved. We didn't come here to this physical dimension to just, run around and skip around and eat lollipops. And there's other places in the universe for that. We came here for an intensive journey of powerful growth and transformation. That's my perspective. Brave souls come to Earth. And everyone on this call is especially brave, because a lot of people right now are chilling out to Netflix, but you guys are choosing to jump into your superpowers and raise your consciousness. That's amazing. So I honor you all so much for just showing up. And remember, our body listens. Your body is saying, oh, this person's showing up for themselves and for life. Okay, I'm gonna give this being more energy. I'm gonna give this being more will. I'm gonna give this being more flexibility and strength, because you're showing up. And you'll notice the more you choose to show up for life, for love, for your superpowers, you will have more energy, more talent will come through, more skills. It'll just land, and we don't have to figure it out. We just show up and play, and then everything else happens. Like, I'll share with you right now as an example. Jumping on this call, I was pretty scared. I had no idea what I was going to talk about. That's just me being honest.
Yeah.
But guess what? I'm in flow now. And it took a few minutes, but I'm in flow and I'm feeling amazing. And I love you guys. So it's just jump in, trust, go live on Facebook, whatever that growing edge is for you. Make an offer you never made before. Step in, because the whole universe, guess how big? Infinite, will show up and meet you at your level of show up. If we shrink back, the universe shrinks back. And we go, oh, why aren't they showing up? Remember, Carrie was talking about, you go first and everyone else will meet you there. So I choose to go first and jumping in. And my superpower is showing up and playing full out. That is my superpower. And that looks very differently in different ways. I fly planes, for example. I didn't know how to fly a plane, but I showed up and played full out. And now I can fly a plane. I didn't know how to live around the world and speak different languages, but I just jumped in and did it. I didn't know how to lead a healing retreat, and I just did it. And that's what I recommend from my heart for all of you, is just whatever your excitement is. And if there's some fear there, that's okay. That just means your feeling world may not have done it before. So you're the one to soothe you and go, hey, God's got me and I got this. And then, and even if your voice shakes, you keep going.
That's excitement. That's all that is. But we're the one that clarifies. Andrea is the one that shared with me that we may have butterflies in our tummy, and we may have told ourselves, oh, this is me being nervous. And yet the butterfly feeling is the exact same as excitement and the exact same as love. And so we're the ones that are going to clarify what it is. So we may have said in the past, that's me being nervous. But what if it's just you being excited? What if you gave yourself that this is me excited? And the energy of excitement is where we can find even more lean in, as you say, because we always talk about leaning in to what it is that if we're scared, we lean in, because there's an expansion right there, because fear is just a contraction. And in every birth, there was a contraction and an expansion, and a contraction and an expansion. And we know that when we lean in, the contraction is right there on the other side. And that's the glory. Because something else I heard you say is that everything happens for a reason. And Andrea and I have been playing with that everything happens for a reason. You said every experience, but everything happens for a reason. And what Andrea and I say is, and the question is, are you living in the glory of the reason? Or have you been living in, well, this is what happened to me. Well, this is what happened to me. And we're being asked to live in the glory of the reason. And that's been miraculous, to be jumping in and really being able to recognize that, as you said, again and again. And as you spoke, you were speaking of, like, it speeds up. Like, it gets easier. And so then you see the glory even quicker. You don't require slamming your whole hand or your whole arm in the door. Now you see it, and you start to see it quicker. Those things that you once required are no longer that. And that's awesome. And Lars, one of the things that I know about you is that you had mentioned to us that you're playing with people in leadership.
Yes.
And supporting people in leadership. Will you share a little bit about that? Because one of the things that I even just told Andrea the other day is, we're not here to collapse all the jobs in the world. We're here to bring consciousness to our world in every job and that exists, and leadership. And so that's profound.
Yes. I've found that when I can partner with someone who is in a leadership role, while everyone is leading in their own consciousness, right? There are companies and organizations that have CEOs and that kind of thing. And when I can partner with someone like that, when they have a shift, everyone else who receives direction from them right away has this shift. Just like you were talking about the parent and the child, it can be a similar thing when people are taking direction from someone. They're able to get it when the leader gets it. And that's why, because I choose to be of highest service. And so I asked myself, what's the way I can be of highest service? And I got a couple answers. One, work with people who are in leadership roles. And two, embody what I choose moment to moment. And that's really what we can all do. But yeah, it's been really fascinating, because
Did you see what Tracy just wrote over there? It says Chief Emotional Officer, CEO.
Wow.
Chief Emotional Officer. Isn't that awesome?
That's it, right? That's exactly it. And what I found is that people who are seeking consciousness and all these things in leadership positions, it's growing faster and faster. There's more conscious CEOs and CMOs and everything all around the world. And it's a blessing when we can actually help them meet themselves in feeling, because oftentimes what they're doing is doing all kinds of plant medicines. And there's definitely gifts in that, but there's also a shadow to it, because what we love to do, me, Carrie, Andrea, and everyone else who plays in this kind of stuff, is we like to go direct. What in you already has what the plant medicines are going to give you. And that's what we go to. So it's exciting and it's fun. And I love it so much. It's so beautiful.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One of the things Andrea and I are going to are playing with now is we're creating a class in January, because one of the things that our world talks about a lot is money. And what we're aware of is that we've had, a lot of people not speak on the topic. And we're like, well, what is it about money? And what we're aware of is, what we're finding out is that how we have love wired, we have money wired. And so we found so much of the tie of health and wealth that went together. But really what I found to be so, because we did a call series on how love is wired and how people have all their love wired. And now we're seeing, well, money's the exact same way. And so in January, we're doing a call series on how's your money wired, so that we can begin to unravel that money is energy. And when we believe it's something else and it's our value, and this call is all about value, because we're talking about our superpower. And when we step into our superpower, we're stepping into our value and we're raising our value. And if we have money tied in there and we're believing in lack, are we living in our full value?
And so we've heard in the past, we've heard Faith and others tell us that money and love are wired the same. Money the same. It's just an exchange. And so yes, I'd heard that, and I'd also heard that health and wealth are the same energy. And what we've discovered now is that how we are with love is how we are with money. And so if we've had the experience of love leaving or love being taken away, we may have that, we're going to have those experiences with money as well. And then how we feel, that's how we are with money. And then how we feel about money, and then how we handle money is how we handle our health. And so when we've yet to give us the greatest care, we're doing the same thing around money. And what we're doing in everything, in all of our tools, with language and speech and finding the roots of the patterns, is we're raising our value through our words, because when we use words that create greater energy, they feel better. And so we begin to feel better. And we're, for example, with Lars's call on what's in your heart, when this is what you lead with, your energy completely shifts and changes. All your happy and loving hormones begin to dance. And those are the bricks that you begin to use to build your house. And so we're raising the value of how we feel about ourselves by how we feed our thoughts, and by how we feed our energy in as loving tenderness, because we've all had plenty of harsh and hard. And when we're going back and cancel clear, going back, when we're stepping into the truth of who we are, it does require us to be massively tender and massively loving with ourselves to bring that all the way through.
Yes. Even looking in the mirror is a powerful practice. I noticed that I was looking in the mirror in a skeptical way, kind of like, is there a little pimple somewhere? Is there imperfection? And this was a few months ago, and I'm like, wait a second, I would really feel all of that. And so then I just decided to look at myself in the mirror and say beautiful thing to myself every time I saw myself. And that's been working really well. And these days I'm smiling more when I see myself in the mirror, and it's beautiful. It's a total shift. And wow, it's just the subtle ways we treat ourselves is the way we're subconsciously signaling others to treat us. Like, oh, why aren't they respecting me fully? Are you respecting you fully? It's that kind of thing. So this is,
yes. And if you've been hiding from the mirror, you know, and that's hiding. And one of the things we tied that with money, Lars, was putting your bills on auto pay and not checking on them again. I mean, it's a hiding of just boom, 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 boom. So we found that if you're not showing up for yourself and able to look at yourself in the mirror, are you able to look at those things? Because what are they representing for you? With value, and are you looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing your value? I mean, even Andrea and I just took a challenge to wash our face every night and to brush our teeth every night, because I used to rush to bed because I had to leave, remember? So I had to like hurry up and leave. So there wasn't time for all of that to give myself that. And so I'm aware of the different ways, like you're saying, that we just start showing up for ourselves and we turn the light on. And when we turn the light on, and what we're speaking about in January is we're turning the light on money. We're turning the light on everything. Nothing is going to be left in the dark when we totally show up and we see ourselves. And that is our value. And we'll be able to have all of that rise with us, because that's part of health. Looking at yourself and being able to see your beauty is it's valuing yourself. That is bringing health to you, because we know that we've seen the studies of the jars of water that sit around, and you say horrible things to one jar of water, and then you say positive things to one jar of water, and the jar of water changes colors because it goes dark. And so that's what we're seeing here, is how much we turn the light on. And that's, you're showing up and looking at every piece of you and being able to love it.
Yes.
What we're doing is untangling the web that we have created between our value and our deserving. And so it's going to be a great, amazing way to play. Lars, will you speak into a little bit about where you are, what you're doing, and the kind of things that you have to offer in community?
Yes, absolutely. I'm here in Dripping Springs in Texas, half an hour west of Austin. And I moved here a few months ago. And part of the intention, me and my girlfriend, Tatiana, live here. And my dad's here for a couple months, actually. And part of me and my girlfriend's intention was to really create a sacred transformational retreat center. And we've already ran retreats here, and we have people come for community events, and it's beautiful. We have multiple acres, and we have a bunch of beds, like 6 extra beds and organic bedding. We wanted to make a very like high-end experience. And it's just so nice here. And what we do is we bring in multiple modalities. So one is mastery systems, which you're either familiar with or will be very familiar with over these next few days. So powerful. I mean, people go to therapy for so many years to have in a few coachings the same kind of results. It's miraculous. And with mastery systems, they also have BE, body electronics, which completely changed my life. When we talk about feeling world, I was basically numbed out just in my head. And I went into BE after BE after BE and just excavated all of the held, trapped emotion and memory that was stored in my fascia, in my body. And when I could let that go, then everything started flowing in my life. And I felt more connected to myself and more trusting in my own feelings and intuition. And I was so inspired by how powerful that was that I wanted to start offering BEs. So those retreats are something that we offer as well. And we'll be kicking those off in the next month or two for 2022. So it's a pretty amazing way to start your new year. And then I also do a lot of one-on-one work with leaders and people who are also aspiring to their own version of leadership. You know, it's whether it's entrepreneurship or becoming a coach or whatever that is. Everyone's got their own genius and their own superpower. And oftentimes what I find is like 90% of us is just so ready, but 10% of us may sabotage and delay and procrastinate. And if we can actually have someone like an expert really work with us on that 10%, we're golden. We're good. You know, because sometimes people get into this transformational space and they focus all on the blocks and the pain and the distortion and the suffering. I'm like, no. The whole point of getting into all this is to thrive. Let's keep that at front and center, right? Thriving, love, healing. And yes, we're going to touch what it isn't, but who we are is a trillion, billion times more powerful than any little subconscious thought form. So I just really make it first.
Do you have a website or something that we can?
Yeah, yes, I have a website and I require updating that, but it has some decent stuff on there. But
that they can, if somebody wanted to get information about your retreats, what's the best way?
That's going to be on a call with us because we're going to basically launch the retreat page in a few days. Okay. But I'm actually posting on the chat here to just book a call with me and I can get to know you and hear about what your goals are and see if they're a good fit.
Perfect.
So I'll just put that there. And then
if you will email us once your page is up, and we can support posting that so that people can find you. And we're going to be sharing gifts from those who are participating. There you'll have an opportunity to do a consult with them and connect. And so you'll receive ways to connect to our presenters in an email in the next couple of days once we're complete.
Amazing. Yeah, that'll be perfect timing.
That, then we'll make sure it gets. Jean and Joan will support us in making sure that you're heard and seen, and anyone who desires to connect to you can.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd be so honored to support any of you in your return. Really, we call it a return because it's who we already are. It's our highest self, but it's like we go on a journey into a maze and we're like, wait, who am I again? And then it's like we're holding this golden thread, and then we're following this thread through this maze of whatever we left ourselves and coming back into our return. So that's something that I see as fun and easy and powerful and sacred. And it's my honor to play with any and all of you in that.
Yes. And I'm moving to Liberty Hill in June, so I'll come to Drip. My son's friends are from Dripping Springs. They call it Drip. They're like, in Drip. So,
Drip drop.
Awesome.
Oh, yes, so, one drop of love. Drip.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lars.
Thank you, Lars.
We appreciate
Thanks for joining us.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Next, we have Miss Tracy. Tracy and Carrie and I have been playing in community for some time, and she brings something completely different to the table. So, Tracy, let's talk about you and what you do and all of your magnificent superpowers. Oh, you're still on mute. There we go.
I'm unmuted now. Hello.
Yes.
First, I would like to take a pause just to say hi to Lars. I've played with your dad in consciousness, and I am so thrilled to have listened to you, see the parts of your father lighting up in you, and what a delight. That has been very fun to come right after Lars. So thank you for your share, Lars. It was amazing. It was great.
Thank you for receiving. It's awesome to meet you.
So thank you as well, Andrea and Carrie. I truly love, there isn't even a question if I could come play with you. It's how often can I play with you, ladies, and people in general now, Lars included, Lauren. And I am honored to be in here today. I have a little different of where I came from in my history and how I too came to understand more of feeling. One of my true codes was that I don't feel. That's one of the first signals that Faith, our common coach, picked up in me in consciousness. And a little background about me. So I've been married for over 33 years now to my beloved, who I briefly met in high school. We met again right after, and have been married since I was 21. I met this wonderful man when I saw him, I felt he was my rescue. As a point in my childhood, since I was born into very young parents, my mom was 16, my father was 19, and my father, by the time he was 19 and I came along, and he had already witnessed his two brothers pass away from a genetic kidney disease that affected men in our family, in their family. So his brother had already died by the age of 16, another one by age 19. So when he reached 19 and felt fine, he felt lucky that he was healthy. And they played around one summer, hence I came out, and yet they were very unstable themselves. So I was married already, or excuse me, I was born into an unstable relationship. And my dad soon found out he did have this disease. And so my memories of my father are of him in the basement doing dialysis as young as when I was 2 years of age. I say that to tell you that I have had long string of abandonment and loss and out of my body experiences, sexual traumas, being placed in another home with a family that they thought was safe, which wasn't. All to say that I am here for massive love and stay in return. And it took me such a long time to find that. When my husband came along, he was my rescue. I ended up becoming very codependent on him and showing him that he could trust me, that I could stay for love. And what happened is about when I was age mid 30s, had 3 kids, and he'd already become a chiropractor, so we had a health business. I became aware of how health in our body was, to the degree we were very healthy. We were getting adjusted, we were eating well. And yet all of a sudden, very quickly, I found that I had come down and my kidneys were failing. And it was a matter of just a few weeks. I found myself having face-to-face conversation with a doctor. His very first words are, "You need a kidney transplant or you're going to die." And another out of body. I just continually had been used to numbing out, and that one can really numb you out. It's one that I am here to show people how to live healthy for, so that you can avoid a call like that. In any case, I fast forward, I found that an opportunity, what I could control at that time and a semblance of control was food. I learned about food. I became a coach around food. And for years, I practiced a beautiful weight loss program where I helped women and men understand how to healthily with food, change their bodies, and plant medicine too. Such as Lars was talking about. We have so much available on this planet for natural foods and how we can enhance this earth suit. So that was my ability to control, and that was how I felt. If I controlled that, I would be healthy. Well, a longer story, yeah, and I choose to get into more than just stories here, but I share this to say I raised 3 children in a state where I was on dialysis over 14 hours a week. I was working full time. My husband had his own business. We weren't home together much. We didn't co-raise our children in the ideals that I thought we should. So I felt guilty, felt shame. I felt shame that I had to be tied to a machine for life. So on the emotion scale, I was really unconscious. Part of the codes that Carrie was talking about, when you would ask me what I would do that day, I would say, geez, I don't know. What did I do? And I was just always busy with something, moving from one to another. Felt guilty if I sat on a couch to do anything for myself, let alone self-care. What was that? I felt guilty for so many reasons. Fast forward to, I did receive a kidney transplant and been very blessed to. And yet, some of these tools that I now know is that this is for a signal for me that came to where that kidney transplant was failing. I was full of guilt for somebody even who would give their organ to somebody, right? Who's deserving of that? I had a lot of guilt going, how am I supposed to thank this person? How could I ever thank this person? She was a beautiful chiropractor, and I even retreated from thanking her well because all of the things that she talked about, she joked about, it was material things. I'm typically a very grounded person, and materially, we didn't afford to be able to say, and nor is that even legal, to pay her off for giving me a kidney. How do you just say thank you and feel good with that? So ended up that kidney started failing. But I found out is that through that kidney failing, that my husband started to also want to leave the planet. Our relationship wasn't the healthiest, and he was tired of the codependency, tired of me in the hospital, didn't know if he could trust his wife showing up, and he wanted to leave the planet. And I've had his agreement to be able to share that, as he and I have been so blessed to be in this world. But it was at that time that he started to hear about conscious language and this ability to shift your words and your emotions. And this, to me, sounded like a foreign language. And I saw my partner start to shift. Okay, for a long time, I wanted to say, my partner doesn't do this. He doesn't hear me. He doesn't listen to me. I don't feel he thinks about me. I don't feel he loves me. I don't feel he thinks I'm beautiful. Those were my codes that Faith heard, so I knew I wasn't feeling. Yet I'm staying because I'm such a good wife. I'm supposed to be a good wife. A wife stay. Mom, I'm here for my kids. I'm going to stay in this marriage. Yet my words and my thoughts were I was leaving. Anytime we have an argument, well, I'm out of here. Can't deal with this guy. And that was my first thoughts versus how can I make this work? How can I stay and choose love? Those are all things now that I think of first instead of choosing to leave. And it took me almost losing my life for him to come to conscious language. And then I thought, well, I see him changing. I'm going to come to these classes too. I'm on dialysis. I had to even leave one of the sessions to go do dialysis, come back to a conscious language conference that was in with our friend. And I literally, again, felt like it was Russian. It was efforting. It was hard. So anyone here who is going, what in the heck are these people talking about? I'm with you. I was there too. I don't understand what these people are talking about, guilt and shame. And what the heck is unconscious anyway? I know the words. I don't know. I know that one. I got that. And I was in a little bit of apathy as I don't care. It's always been this way. Nobody's going to change anything. I know my food. I got my food. I'm healthy. I got it. What I found out was the beautiful part of kidneys is that the signal is every body part in us has a relationship with an emotion, and kidneys are here for partnerships. They're here for great partnerships because there's two of them, right? And there's also here for magnificent forgiveness. And I'm able now to forgive the unforgivable. But what happened was it took me after I received a miracle second transplant. So what my husband kept talking in faith that I am going to have my wife. He's claiming his marriage. He's claiming all of that. I'm going to get a kidney. Well, they told me it was going to be after my kidneys were failing. I was in ICU, almost dying. That's when he came to learn about conscious language. I tried. And I said, whatever. I've been told it's going to be a 7 to 9 year wait. I'm now on my late 40s. Dialysis doesn't feel good to my body anymore. And I'm starting to give up any semblance of hope. I'm on autopilot every day. Just that's how I was, my modus operandi. Anybody understanding that? I wake up, I'm a reactive. Life happened to me until I got a miracle call. An expected 7 to 9 year wait. All of a sudden it took 14 months. And I had this call saying, I got a miracle kidney from someone who left the planet. Well, of course, I'm packing all my stuff. I'm excited to go. I received this kidney. And within a matter of weeks, days, a week, all of a sudden, I feel like I'm in the driver's seat behind my eyes. I'm witnessing myself. I'm experiencing a whole new level of what I am here for. I also started to suddenly experience my ability to stay, and this innately, because what they've been talking about, are you getting this? My husband was in it. I was now receiving what he was bringing up in consciousness in him. I was receiving without doing any work in me. I thought it was Russian, French. I didn't understand it. All of a sudden, I woke up and I was starting to see this. And I was starting to see what I was available for. And I'm here all of a sudden with a new massive will to stay in my body. Didn't know what any of that was. I wasn't using that language. I just knew how I felt. And within days, actually that weekend, my husband said, hey, you know what? Congratulations on your kidney, but I'm out of here. I'm out of this relationship. I just can't take this anymore. I was pissed off. What are you talking about? I'm in bed. I can hardly walk. You want to fucking leave? Bye. And that was my attitude. I'm staying for me. I am no longer available for an unhealthy relationship. I knew that. And God has such a beautiful plan. He uses these things for purpose. And what happened was he did go away for a night, came back the next day and asked if I could talk to a coach. Well, I knew I would talk to a female coach and somebody he wasn't talking to, and we found Faith. I love her name because it really is. I found faith within me to say, yes, I'll talk to someone. And I found her words again. She says, so what's going on with your world, Tracy? But somebody's listening to me. I felt heard for the first time with my husband sitting there. Let me give you my list. Okay, you ready? I don't feel he loves me. I don't feel he sees me. I don't feel he does the shopping. I'm ready with my list. Literally 4 minutes in, Faith's like, okay, pause. I'm like, what's this pause crap? Pause. Yeah. She's like, when is the first time you remember not feeling? I can still get tears right now just feeling, because I'm here for so much feeling. But it took me way back to being a 2-year-old where I didn't feel my dad's love. I didn't feel I was worthy. I was placed in another home. I felt abandoned. Nobody heard me. I was sexually abused so much. Came rushing back into me. And that's how quickly I can heal. You can heal. Once we start claiming and seeing, I am here for it, everything I did was for me. It took my husband out of the picture, and it came back to me placing authority back into me and saying yes to me. And I said yes to a retreat, as Carrie had mentioned, very quickly for myself versus business. It was the first time I ever invested in me without a caveat. Oh, I'm going to grow the business, or it's for somebody else. Anybody relating? Do you invest in yourself? It was the first time, and I was 50 years of age. Yes, thank you. Thanks. That alone, that decision felt amazing. And it was through there that I started to realize what I am here for, that I am worthy. The mirror play that Lars was just talking about was one of my first acts of self-love. I would write down, I have Post-it notes, I have books, I still have them around, just filled with I am statements. The power of the words I am and what comes after it is so empowering. And I started that. And now day 2 probably, or day 1 on this retreat, we also had this act of waking up in the morning with yoga instructor. And she would bring us into a place of real ease in our body. And at night we did this breath class. And I'd breathe so deeply for the very first time that my body relaxed so much. And the small movements unlocked this fascia, and my breath hit different points in my body that I had memories, safe memories. And it wasn't guided. It was just alone. All of a sudden, I saw what is unforgivable, and I was able to forgive it in a moment. I was able to witness myself and do some self-healing on the spot like this. I literally moved through my body and through my life in a breath pattern that was so conscious and lovely that I feel when I came to, that I woke up on that breath floor. I woke up, I opened my eyes at the end, and what the heck was that? That was me breathing life into my life. Breath is inspiration. It is God breathing. And I found I could feel. That was me feeling for the first time. And what I have begun to notice is that since we've had a chiropractic family business, that I have been able to move this now into a practice of seeing how to embody ourselves and move through these emotions with ease and facilitate other women. It just means I help you see how easy that you can do this too. Breath, for one thing, is free. And it's interesting, it's an autonomic nervous system action. We automatically breathe, yet it is the only part of our body that we can actually shift and change our nervous system with consciously. So when I was in my state of abandonment, loss, waiting for loss, did a weight loss program, how funny, haha. I found that I was constantly on edge. My nerves in my body were always on hold. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop somewhere. I knew the life was happening to me, so I'm always prepared. Something's going to happen. And now I can find this beautiful ease in every part of my body. I found I could start to talk to myself and start to heal every part of my body. And the work part is the breath work is that it's just more work. The more we do it, it's a daily practice now, the more consistent, then we get ease in different areas of our body. So I'm an embodiment coach. Now I do talk about how we eat and how we fuel ourselves. And now I talk about the emotionality of it. How are you feeling with it? And maybe hitting patterns along that line. Because so many of my discussions around the weight loss ended up being more than just about food. And quite often it is. Until we realize what it is, we might defend it. No, it's just about food. As long as I can control food, I'm just perfectly fine. Until we start to see any patterns coming up. And breathwork has this amazing ability to witness our patterns and to let go and surrender and receive more ease into our life. Finding more ease, now we find more health as a result. So part of our system is we have a nervous system, and this nervous system wants to hold. That means you're in fight or flight. You're ready to run from that perceived tiger at any point or waiting for that shoe to drop. So every part of my body, the longer we're in that, our fascia even will control and actually tighten around parts of our organs and tighten around other parts of our body, creating dis-ease. So part of really knowing that that is going on is raising your awareness about it, just feeling. Now, and breathing and slowing down, we can switch our system into one of rest, digest, healing modality. And then this healing state, which is usually what you're experiencing when you're asleep, is that this is when we're repairing. I love the word repairing because we're bringing it together. We're remembering who we really are at night. We're fixing and repairing innately, totally on an unconscious level. This is part of our subconscious. It does it on its own. So then during breath work, I can help you shift back into feeling this state so that you can regulate your own body. And self-regulation is this ability that we can start to coach and hear and attune to our body. And as we bring in those work to our body versus thinking, we can try to think all day long. Our brain wants to just hijack you. Okay. You can think, I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to be a really good eater today. I'm going to plan all my meals and I'm going to plan to take some self-care and I'm going to plan to, and then that is in here. And if we're staying in our mental, we're playing in 10% of who we really are. Because who we really are is in our wisdom and our body. This is our heart portal. We are energy. We are energy from the top and above our head, all the way down through our root chakra, all the way out into many different energy areas in our body. The low chakra areas are about safety and about security. So with breath work, we can actually mentally go to different parts and do body scans throughout our body to sense how we're feeling even deeper. And I'll share this to the point that I have this program that I use now called Feel and Heal and what it's revealing for us. So we ask what's going on, similar to what Faith did, and I'll listen to your code, similar to what I'm sure many of you may have already experienced because you're here tonight. We listen to codes, we listen to your words, and they will start to reveal a pattern. And that is usually what's just here in hidden gold. Their belief systems, you believe in it so much. And you might be stressed out and about responsibilities, but then we get to the core. And once you find the core purpose and the cause, it's usually about fear. And then we can flip it to walking through faith. And fear to faith is what we are all here to make okay in our body. There's so much I could talk about this. But mostly what I do love is weaving in a lot of what has already been said here. Looking at yourself in the mirror, truly, not just here to check my makeup, but to look in your eyes and really see yourself for the first time and say, hi, how are you? Have a conversation with yourself. And I love what Lars, I'm going to piggyback. I say this too every morning. I say, that's the connection now. It's not just how I'm looking, which was how I was for so many years. It's hi, connecting on the inside. You're awesome and you're amazing. And today you're going to be of service. And I talk to myself and give myself a high five. And I got that from Mel Robbins. Anybody else love Mel Robbins? I love her. I follow her too. She has great tips along these lines, but the conscious part of this is you connecting with you. It's all about connections, I believe. It's all about feeling. It's all about so much of this returning. And that's also what Lars said. This is returning or remembering. Our innate person has always been here. My little girl self, that was who I thought I was. My great self is returning. And each one of us has this in us. And this is our opportunities to feel and heal and reveal what our heart's code is. What is this perceived weakness? Mine was also, I stay for me. I stay for big love. I stay for partnership in my loving marriage. And I trust now what true love is. And I am true love. I can trust me. And this is the process that you may find some thread in here somewhere that you're grasping your own gold and going, wow, I used to believe that I couldn't make a decision, but now I feel maybe I can make decisions more for myself. I have clarity returning, which is also part of it. I like to make that as easy as ABC. All choices are made, and they can be made very easy as ABC, which is raising your awareness. There is an issue out there to be held. Bringing it into your body, breathing this, feeling it. Where is this stored? As we talked about, there are relationships. Our shoulders are where we hold burdens, a lot of shoulds. I should have done this. I should have done that. We can release this. Our throat is about expressing, and our words. And when we make this shift, that is a lot of what we're bringing into is speaking what is versus what isn't. And so when we're bringing it into our body, where are you feeling it and being able to translate it? Now you can see a new choice and claim something new in you, a new outcome. And this is the action part. We must get something new. We can stay and listen to all this. This is really good. But what loving action can you feel that you can take as a result of bringing it to your awareness, bringing it into your body? How do you feel? And now you can claim and choose something new for a new outcome. And that's as easy as ABC. This will help you with your actions, with your motion, with your emotion, and with your movements. That's what I like to say.
And Tracy, where are you offering breath? Like, how can somebody have experience a breath session with you?
The breath session and the healing, it's more, I do have one next week coming up. I have a live session, online session on Friday. And then I have a live session here in Houston as well on Saturday.
Awesome. And where do they find you? Is it Feel to Heal on Facebook?
Yeah, best way to connect would be for the updates would be on Facebook. That's Tracy Mahan. And I also have a it's called feeltohealcoaching.com is my website. And there's more on there as well. But for more of the updates, you can also reach me just because we're all here via Facebook. Facebook's a great place to meet. And I'd love to, if you're a woman and you'd like to get in, I do have a current group that we're running, and that's about women's wellness. So I'm bringing on a lot of new people to share in different facets about women and wellness as well in there, and doing coaching on theme-based coaching, as you guys do as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me tonight, and for everyone just staying and listening. You're going to receive so much, as much as you're willing to receive.
Yes.
Thank you. I like the pen part. This is part of it, is during the Feel, Heal, Reveal, a lot of this comes up, and just writing. I have a conscious stream of consciousness writing I do in there too. And as you can see, this is
you can handle what you've done.
Massive stay again, and more upgrades. This is now our awareness, is that we get to a certain level and we get bigger and bigger, and there isn't a governor on our feelings. There isn't a governor on how much joy we can receive and love, and that's what I'm here for, deeper levels of it and so much more. But yeah, it has been interesting, because I do really desire this heart connection with our hand when we're writing. It is a conscious stream of writing is more about what is coming through unconscious, subconsciously, versus us connecting with how we're punctuating or what we're actually saying. So I'm reversing how that goes, and I'm speaking it now instead at the moment. So that's been fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for everyone who has shown up tonight, and for our presenters, Tracy and Lars. We're so grateful for your wisdom and your courage to play in new ways and to share your gifts. And we will be here again tomorrow night at 6:30, and we have Erin and Amy are speaking, and Erin is a coach and Amy is a children's book author. So we look forward to sharing their greatest weaknesses and greatest strengths and their superpower with all of you. If anyone has any specific questions, you're welcome to stay on and ask. But we're going to go ahead. Carrie, do you have anything to add here at the end?
Just to say thank you for everyone showing up, because I think Lars really put it into perspective when he said you could be in front of Netflix. But the fact that you came into the call meant something in your heart said, yes, there's something in this for me. And there's something that I will hear tonight that will ignite something inside of me. And so I am so grateful for all of you who have come tonight, for our presenters who have been here, and for our presenters that will go tomorrow, will show up tomorrow and Saturday. Because what you're finding about the facilitators and the people that you're witnessing is they're showing up in a whole new way right here, right now, happening before you, as Lars even said. And that is glorious for all of us, because we're all raising showing up and how we're showing up for each other. So yes, so mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you all. And feel free to unmute and say goodbye or wave or whatever, or however you feel. Thank you all for coming. Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. We appreciate you greatly.
Bye, Elizabeth. Monica.
Liz, we're going to see you shine on Saturday.
Thank you for
so
sharing.
excited to hear you blaze.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you for joining. So
Liz, I can't hear you.
No.
I choose to hear you. I know you do. I wonder if she's accidentally unmuted.
It shows she's unmuted.
It says unmuted.
Diana, we didn't even see Diana's face.
And Carrie, you want to go ahead and take us off Facebook?
Oh, thank you. This is too exciting.